Coming to you from the historic Hart Building in Marysville, California, in Studio 93, in the Tank with Fish, with your host, Bob Fischetti.
Hey, this is Fish, and I am excited because I get to hang out with Kelly again. The rest of this is a wash.
We could just like schedule time to hang out.
We could, but it wouldn't be as fun, right? I don't know, maybe it would be. And so I got a couple of great guests coming up here in just a few minutes, but I just want to say how much I appreciate people watching these. I hear about it in the community. They come up and tell me, "Oh, I saw you when you interviewed so and so." If you have somebody that you really think it'd be fun to have Kelly and I interview, and again, what we do is we really want to know the person. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much what they do; it's who they are, right? And then if we like them, they get a cup. The reward for coming.
That's not to say that people we had on before we had mugs we didn't like.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
just clarify. Yeah. They're probably going to come back on as a second round.
They're like mugless.
I know. Diego's going to be back for sure.
Oh, he wants a mug. He wants one that,
Don Diego?
Yeah, he wants one that has a cape. Don Diego.
Has a cape. It probably has to be like a black mug, so it's a little bit more like hip.
Yeah. How's the bread business? Surprise!
I won't do that. Mine is not a prop. Mine actually has coffee in it. If I do that, they can go in the blooper reels.
Yeah, no kidding. So how's the bread business?
Bread is good. Just crazy to me. We made 175 loaves for the first time a few weeks ago in a week.
Did you get your new oven?
We did. It's still in the crate in the driveway. It's like 450 pounds.
Well, even if you took it out of the crate, with the weather the way it's been, and then you get to run an oven,
I think I could just bake in the driveway at this point with how hot it's been.
Yeah. Just put the bread on the pavement.
I feel like our chickens are currently laying hard-boiled eggs right now.
You have chickens?
We do have chickens.
Stop. Oh,
yeah.
Do you have anything else besides chickens?
We do.
We've got two little animals that empty the refrigerator on a regular basis.
Caden and Oliver.
Raccoons.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Little trash pandas. Yeah.
I met them.
I know.
Your kids are almost as adorable as you. Almost.
They're so fun. They really are my favorite people. Yeah.
I have to tell you though, both of them, you see the wheels turning. Those are smart boys. Always. They got stuff going all the time.
Always. And my 12-year-old is too smart. He's too smart for his own good, and he just is so charming that he could charm your socks off. Like I have a hard time parenting him because he's me, but he's like so funny and he gets me. So he can say or do things, and he knows that that's going to be it. And then I'm just,
So your buttons are exposed with him.
To him.
You can't hide the buttons.
Oh yeah, for sure. But no, he's so fun. He's like one of those kids that just turn your day around. You're having a rough day, and he reads people really well, and he just, is super silly, and he'll turn your day around. It's a talent, really.
Well, I had a conversation with them about Cheeto bread.
Great.
They both agree with me.
I'm sure they do. We don't even keep Cheetos in our house. You're gonna have to buy us Cheetos if you want Cheeto bread.
I was thinking about it, and it's like all kidding aside, when you think about bread, there's probably a gazillion things you could put in bread.
Oh yeah.
We automatically think of fruit or nuts, right? Banana nut bread.
Yeah.
Applesauce bread.
Oh yeah. I love a good applesauce bread.
Cranberry.
Yeah.
Right, but very rarely do you hear Cheeto bread.
Never.
Right? Frito bread, right? It's like Frito and Bean to be like taco bread.
Well, I love us. Like, I'm over here like, we sell organic 3-ingredient bread. And Fish is like, let's put some Cheetos in it. Which probably has like 25 ingredients on the list, including dye.
Apparently your education you didn't get everything, because haven't you ever seen a Cheeto tree?
Yeah, exactly. We just pick them right off the tree.
Fresh Cheetos.
I'm telling you, though, the boys did tell me that you talked to them about Cheeto bread.
They did.
And now they're like, Mom, when are you making Cheeto bread?
I mean, it's worth a try, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't sell it because you can't call that all natural. As a matter of fact, I don't really know what's in Cheetos. I avoid reading that. I don't eat that stuff very often, right? I probably like potato chips. But even that.
Yeah.
I'm not really, You're not
a chip guy?
No, I had a BLT the other day at the Breck, and I like that. Well, they asked me what kind of bread, and I put it on a sweet roll.
Why would you do that?
Stacy was with me and she said that. Why would you put a BLT? That? I don't know. It sounded
and they carry my bread. Why would you do that over a sliced sourdough?
They asked me if I wanted it in a Chewbacca, which I'm not a Star Wars guy. The Chewbacca bread. What the heck?
Also known as ciabatta.
Yes. As a kind of. Oh, man. We better bring our guests in.
We should, because we'll be here all day.
And it'd be fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they're going to be bored. But all right. We want to thank you for watching.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We're going home now to have Cheeto bread.
Yeah, we're going to make it.
If you really believe that Cheeto bread might be an option, please, can they click below? What do they do when they watch
right
these?
Now. This is not a vote for Cheeto bread show. Where's the hook? Who does? You don't even get coffee today. If this is how you are without, you do not even get morning coffee.
Yeah, you notice my cup's empty. Yours is full.
I'm glad it's empty.
Periodically, Kelly has to mom me. She plays the mom card to square me away. Anyway, I don't know how you communicate with us. This is on 93Q TV, and so you watch it. I don't know. Can you click below?
I think you can comment.
But you can email us at info@93qradio.com.
You can comment on the videos.
Oh, okay. So comment on the video. Let us know if you want Cheeto bread or not.
Don't comment that.
No, I meant what I said. If you're somebody that you think would be just a fun guest, it's really getting to know people. And we'll be right back. The guests I have coming in, I met them. They are with Marysville Joint Unified School District, and they run the intern program, and then also from Lyndhurst. And I just think Lyndhurst is one of the best kept secrets in our area. That campus is amazing. The kids are phenomenal. So anyway, stay with us. We'll be right back with Fish and the Minnow, and maybe a loaf of Cheeto bread. I don't know.
No.
93Q Radio was an opportunity for what's called an LPFM to give the community a voice.
The big part of what's happening here is it's us. It's the community of us.
The work that Mr. Fischetti has done with us to promote public education has been absolutely groundbreaking.
They have the pulse of our community, from the nonprofits to the local governments. If you want to find out what's happening in our community, get on board with 93Q.
And 93Q does so much to help our community, helps us promote our local events, as well as local businesses, and tell our story about what we do here in Yuba Sutter.
The folks that work here, they're part of our community, so they understand our needs, and that's important.
Local radio is so important. During times of emergency, they're there. We lean on them to provide information to our public.
My wife and I are glad to support 93Q. We're going to do it on a monthly basis, but I really recommend that if you want to make your community better, this is a great place to take a first step right here.
So if you can, reach deep in your pocket and give to 93Q.
93Q is a great partner for law enforcement, and they're a great partner for the Yuba Sutter area.
We're really asking people if you can give $10, $15, $20 a month, and then that enables us to continue to put small business spots on the air, nonprofits, organizations that are they're using every dollar they got just to operate, and they don't have extra money to spend on really promoting their cause. And that is why community radio, to me, I'm grateful to be part of it, and that's why it's important.
Welcome back to Fish and Minnow. I'm just renaming the show for us.
Feel free.
We're back with our guest, Becca and Mimi. And I am not even going to attempt last names because, well, you know me, and that just does not go over well.
Yeah, she has a problem with Trudell.
Stop. Trudell I can do. McGrath was my maiden, and that was challenging.
What was it?
McGrath.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Yeah. That was challenging for people. Okay, enough about us. Hi. Hi.
So I can do Becca's.
Yes, okay.
Rolufs.
Good job.
Okay.
Rolufs.
I cannot do Mimi's on a bet.
Mimi, you do it for us.
Arroyo Magana.
See?
Arroyo Magana.
Arroyo Magana.
Yeah. Mimi's already shortened. It's Noemi, but Mimi's like, term of endearment. So
thank you for making it easy.
Arroyo Magana.
Somehow when she says it, it sounds right.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I
wrong. No one's corrected me yet.
That's how you say that.
No one's going to argue it with her.
No.
Not when it's your name.
Yeah, that's right.
You get to pronounce it however you want.
Yeah.
So we love having this podcast room and using it. And I met Becca because we have interns from Lyndhurst that have come in. One of them has been very successful and has stayed with us and actually works here. And so I met Becca because I have no idea what her title is, but she can tell us. But she takes care of the interns where they go. And then Mimi just walks around and has like really cool last names. So I don't know what her job. Mimi actually has a job, but nobody knows what it is.
To pronounce things.
I just hang around. No, I'm the proud assistant principal at Lyndhurst High School, and a lot of our kids are working with Becca through a series of internships. So just excited to brag about all the good things happening. Assistant principal. I'm the assistant principal.
How long is that going to last? That guy is leaving.
He might be watching this for sure.
Just kidding. I would just like to apologize on behalf of Fish.
We're not trying to throw anybody out, okay? I'm just trying to enjoy my summer right now. I think that's going to make me feel good, but it won't. Moving right along.
We just tossed the principal of Lyndhurst under the bus. He isn't even here to defend him.
I don't even know him.
So Becca, I told you one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is who are you? Where did you come from? Are you local? Do you homegrown? Or are you grown in another field somewhere? I mean,
well, it was in the middle of a field.
I love that.
So I am the work-based learning specialist for Marysville School District. So that is my title, and basically what my position does is helps bring the students and the classroom together with our local businesses. And so that is how we've gotten interns into our local businesses. But where I come from, I like to say that I'm semi-local. I have grown up around Marysville, but I am from Nicholas, California, just down the highway. Tiny little town of barely 300 people, if even, and in the middle of a field. I grew up from farming, and Mom was a teacher.
Oh, stop! Your mom was a teacher,
yeah.
So that was an influence for you, obviously.
Yeah. She worked at my high school. She was a special ed para. And so she, I got to go hang out in Mom's. We were just talking about the kids coming out and hanging out with the teachers during lunch. I was in my mom's room at lunch, and it was fun to have her around.
So I have to ask, how many kids graduated from your high school?
In my class, it was 89. And at the time, I don't know if it's still true, but at the time, it was the largest graduating class.
I'll have to see. My son's will be a sophomore there this year.
Oh, really?
So I'll have to ask how many's in his class. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
So did you go away to school? How did you end up leaving and then coming back?
Yeah, so I ended up going to Chico State, which when I was graduating from high school, so I have an older sister. She's 5 years older than me. I came into the high school as Annie's little sister. I did cheerleading. Annie did cheerleading. So I was always did all of the things that my sister did. My sister went to Chico State, and I was like, absolutely not. And then I went and toured Chico, and I toured some other colleges, and I was like, I'm going to Chico State. I loved it. And now, any student that I'm talking to that's like, oh, I don't know where I want to go. I'm like, Chico State, go to Chico State.
It still has that small town feel,
yes,
right? Yeah.
And it's walkable, and it's a beautiful campus, and the programs are amazing. I can't say enough great things about it. I think that was a wonderful experience. And then, so I majored in exercise physiology there with a minor in marketing. And then, so I don't have really a straight shot into this position, that's for sure. So I was doing that working in physical therapy offices, and then decided I wanted to go into sales my senior year of college, and went and worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car straight out of college back in Sacramento, and found out I don't like sales at all.
That's how you find it out. That's how you learn.
I like working with people. I do not like selling things to them. Yeah. Like, if someone tells me, no, I don't want it, I'm like, yeah, you're right.
You really don't want it. You don't even want me.
I don't want to do get 3 no's before it's a no. I'm like, you say no once. I'm like, yes, I agree. Yeah. And so then from Enterprise Rent-A-Car, I went to work for a biomass power plant, doing accounting and HR there.
That is a little different.
You know what? I know somebody like you. She'll try anything.
Say that.
I'll be a fireman. I mean, it's like she just thought, I'll try it, right?
Yeah. And so I ended up in that position from a friend's mom. She was retiring, and she knew that I didn't like my sales job. So she was like, hey, you want to try this one? So went there, worked there for 5 years, and then that one is actually in Lincoln, just across from Thunder Valley Casino. No one knows that it's there, but it is a very cool place. And then from there, ended up over here in Marysville School District as the work-based learning specialist.
What a wild ride.
So because you've had so much job experience, was that like the translation to kind of get you in the door?
Yeah, basically like, I've been in multiple industries and in odd positions within those industries. So I think of as when you're in high school, you're thinking, okay, doctor, lawyer, police officer, the big flashy ones. And there are so many jobs within industries that you have no idea those exist. There is something for everyone. So being able to find what you actually enjoy doing, and then the industry that you're interested in, and finding that position within that industry, I think is important. And so, I've gained random experience from random places and kind of put it together.
I think life experience is huge. I feel like it's so underrated compared to, degrees are great, but life experience is really where you can bring it all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds like a great fit for you.
Yeah, it is definitely a fun place to work, and I really, really enjoy getting to see students. I mean, I graduated from high school thinking that at one point I wanted to be a mechanic, then it was a psychologist, then it was a physical therapist.
So what are you going to do with all those Craftsman tools you bought? Because I know somebody might want them.
Hey, the only work I've ever done on my car, I've done a little bit of things from YouTube helped me.
Yeah.
My last car was held together by hair ties. So I think I'm a great mechanic.
She obviously didn't see the duct tape video from
That's all you need in your car is some baling wire and duct tape.
Yeah.
So it's got to be exciting for you having, like you said, life experience to see these kids. When I was in high school, it was called COE, Cooperative Occupational Education. So I knew that there was that opportunity, and I forget what they called it before when I first got connected with it, but that kids could actually go work on a job while they were in school. And I don't know exactly how I got connected with you. I think it was through Dr. Fall, but I mean, they call it CTE, and then now you call it
work-based learning.
Yeah, work-based learning. And for me, having the kids here, it's kind of exciting because I feel like it doesn't matter whether they do this. You know, I'm going to go with them over, don't sit in that chair. Ask me about doing something. In other words, those kinds of things that I know, not just as an employer, but that employers are going to want. And so they get a chance to do this. And for some reason, kids love this stuff.
Yeah.
They just eat it up, the whole video thing. And the group that we have now, they came in and you know, they have to do the podcast from both sides. They have to do it from the opposite side, which we got one student from your Prince, and he is just a kick, just such a good kid and smart and able to pick things up, and he actually listens to Kurt. Which I'm not sure what's going on. He's learning from Kurt. I believe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so, but he's graduated, and then you got some more graduating. But I want to transition just a little bit from that, because what you do, you actually do for the whole district, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So do all of the schools have some form or another of an intern program?
Yeah, so the program is district-based. So we have, like this year, we had 17 interns, and they were all from Marysville High School, MCAA, and Lyndhurst High School. So there were, a lot of them were from Lyndhurst High School. Most of the ones that you had, one of them was from MCAA as well.
Yeah, we got one from, and I got 2 out of Sacramento. But those were grandkids.
Yeah. Yeah. But they all do get to come together and meet each other. And it's a district-wide program. So we actually had all of them come together at Yuba County, the government center. And the HR department put on a workshop where we went over resumes and applications and interviews. So that was a moment where they all got to come together and actually meet each other, because they don't all know each other. And that was a fun experience.
Yeah. And it's got to be exciting for you to watch it happen. I had never been to Lyndhurst. You know, I mean, I heard of Lyndhurst. I knew there was a high school out there. And, and then Dr. Paul took me out to see your broadcasting, whatever you call that area.
Multimedia.
Huh?
Multimedia.
Yeah, multimedia, and I was blown away. That's phenomenal. Yeah. But I was probably more blown away by the kids. All of them were very polite, I mean, it was, I don't know if it's because I was walking with Dr. Paul. It might have been. But that could have had something to do with it. But no, just really great kids, great staff out there, and great facility. And I tell people, it's like I chaplain for Yuba City PD. I say, go do a ride along if you want to know. And with Lyndhurst, it's like, go see it.
Yeah.
It is a great campus, great kids, and you got new stuff happening all the time.
All the time, yeah. You know? And we get that response all the time at Lyndhurst.
I bet.
All the time. We get it from parents, community members. They'll come by. Substitutes. I was just telling Becca, we'll have substitutes, and, you know, they come and they show up kind of like, because, you know, for some reason they've heard about us. And then once they do, they're like, oh, my God, the kids are so nice, or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they're just kids, you know? I mean, I don't know who assigned them this reputation, but they're naturally curious, as you've seen. They're so eager to learn.
Yeah.
They'll work their butt off for you if you give them a chance. And, you know, they don't want to leave their teachers because they see them as this wealth of information. So sometimes, that gets kind of hard on our staff because our staff will just go above and beyond for them. And sometimes, it's like, hey, man, take some time for you. That's kind of hard to do. But, I struggle with that myself just because it's so rewarding to see kids really take advantage of that. So having this internship program and knowing that they're going to be connected to industry. And like you said, you don't know what you want to do until you're sitting there in that job.
That's it.
Yeah. Even teaching, it's like, I'm going to do this. And you learn how to lesson plan. And it's like, whoa, I didn't know this is what it was going to be. Right? And then you either love it or you adjust or you switch or whatever. But having that opportunity to do that at such an early age is really helpful for our community.
And that's something that I've told the students every time they're coming into these internships. We're checking in, seeing how everything's going. And if I've reiterated that if it's not, you're learning that maybe this isn't what I want to do. It's so much better that you're learning that at 16, 17, versus going through all of the schooling, paying money for that, and then getting into the position being like, oh, I don't like this. I put an hour. Yeah.
3 times in college, I changed my major. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'll try this. No, I don't want to do that.
And I put a year into sales, and then it was like, oh, this is terrible.
This is not what I thought it was.
This is not for me. It's great for other people. It's not for me.
How do you find places to hook up with in programs that'll work with you guys?
So a lot of it is through just networking and connections, and then students will specifically be like, I am looking for this industry. And so if a student does come looking for something that I don't already have a connection with, then I will go and try to make that relationship. But a lot of it is networking. This community is wonderful. They are so open to helping the students, which has just been an absolute blessing, and honestly has made my job easier.
Yeah. We know the rules with your job. I know the rules. Mimi, where did you grow up at?
I actually grew up right here. Yeah, I was born in Fremont Hospital. So let's go way back there.
How big of a baby were you?
And I do have to tell you, I'm a twin, because that's the rule. I had to tell everybody I'm a twin.
Really?
Yes, I have a twin brother, but I'm the oldest. I'm a minute older.
And the better looking of the two.
Oh, well, he's quite handsome too, but, Anywho. So I went to school in Cedar Lane. My parents lived over by Cedar Lane area. So we grew up there. And then around 3rd grade, my parents bought a home in Johnson Park. They still live there now. So we went to school at Johnson Park, then Yuba Gardens, Lyndhurst. So I was at Lyndhurst 93 through 97.
Oh, wait a minute. So you're the vice principal at Lyndhurst.
Yes.
And you're also a Lyndhurst graduate.
Yes, I am, sir. I'm very proud to
cool.
I told you she was the Lyndhurst Pro. She knows.
Yeah, and actually more than 20% of our staff is Lyndhurst alumni.
Well, I can see that.
Oh, yeah,
Really, it's...
Oh, yeah. You just want to come back. Because of what the staff does. It's like, I want to go and be part of that. So, anywho, so I graduated in 97. I went straight to UC Davis, and it took me about 5 years. Also for the same reason, I was pre-med, but I also was kind of fighting being an educator, because I told myself if I become an educator, I'm going to have homework the rest of my life, and I'm so done with school.
That sounds like something I think. No more homework.
No. Yeah. But so anywho, so I did Spanish, English, and pre-med, which doesn't align up, right? So that's going to take a while. Anywho, so then, took a gap year. Like, I don't know what I want to do. And then, made the mistake of substituting to see if I liked that. And I fell in love with it. The late Dean Miller hired me as a long-term sub to tutor in math. And then shortly after that, my own Spanish teacher went on a long-term leave. He asked me to take over, and he never came back. And again, and the principal, I remember he pulled me aside. He's like, hey, you like what you're doing? I'm like, I love it. It's the best job I ever had. He goes, you want to do it forever? I'm like, oh, yeah. So
I mean, that would make me nervous. Hey, could you take my place? And I never come back.
Well, he didn't tell me he wasn't coming back. He said, I'm going to be out for a couple weeks. Yeah, but at the same time, I already knew I wanted to be an educator. So I was already going through, my credential program and stuff. So it worked out beautifully. And then, got mentored by some phenomenal teachers and just never left, That's the thing. Once you start substituting or doing anything when you're around young people, I think it's like I don't want to go be with adults. I'd rather be with them. And so anytime we have a lot of returning students start subbing, and it's like, I don't want to teach. I'm just doing this for the, it's really good money. It's like, okay. And then before you know it, it's like, I'm joining the credential program. I'm like, yeah.
It works.
Yes. Yeah. So I loved being in the classroom. I don't think I'll ever love anything as much as that.
I think that there's a great deal to be said for, I like what you said, Becca, about you tried some other things and you did that. But I think there's a lot to be said for kids getting that opportunity. Yeah. And prior to meeting you, I had written an intern program because I knew, and it was actually for, I can't remember the school, I think it was River Valley. And I just knew that kids like this stuff. And since we've expanded it, because before we were just radio, now we're radio you can see and podcast, and I have a TV studio downstairs. And so the kids get an opportunity to find out if they like this side of it. And then I love the side that there are kids who seem very quiet. Prince was pretty quiet, but he likes that side where Kurt is. And so if you talk to Kurt, he likes that side. He's not coming out here. He's not, unless we have Cheeto bread. Then he's like,
then he'll cross the line.
He'll cross the line for that. But so when you're talking to the kids, that there's so many different opportunities, but how many of them actually go, I think I want to do this, and then they get in the intern program and they say, nah, that is, do you get that?
Oh, yeah. And that is what I've told them. You are not failing if you decide that that's what you don't want to do. That is still a win. But a lot of them do come through and are like, this was amazing. So that's always a plus as well. But yeah, just knowing that early ahead of time is so beneficial. And I think a huge part of it also is just getting that first look into how a business runs and getting comfortable with that. Coming from a high school, you're surrounded by your peers. Everybody knows you. You go through your daily, how life works. But then they don't know what happens in a business and how that all operates. So getting to get in there and have that firsthand look. I was talking to two of our interns were at the DA's office, the Yuba County DA's office. And both of them are wanting to go into law. But I was like, what did you learn differently? Or what is something that was unexpected of this? And they were like, they're so fun. Lawyers are fun. This was so much fun, and everybody gets along, and it's like a family. And there are certain industries that you have an idea of how somebody acts in that industry. And so that was something that they were like, oh, they're so much more fun. It's not like they're uptight lawyers with their ties all the way up, but makes them more comfortable going into that position later on, and just more comfortable in general interacting with the adults.
Well, I'm sure it gives them kind of a leg up as far as interview process. And you said you did mock interviews, all of that. I mean, I don't think I remember my first interview, but I'm sure I was terrified, right? You're sitting there across from a table of adults that you don't know and going through an interview. So I think to have something like that where, hey, let's walk you through what some questions might be, how to dress properly, all of these.
How to prepare.
Yeah, I saw some statistics.
So if you're out there and you did Kelly's first interview, I want you to know that it is nothing that 8 years of therapy won't heal.
I remember who it was now. It was Vicky, and it was a home daycare I was in.
Thanks, Vicki.
Yeah, thanks, Vicki, for giving me my first job ever.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, you think about, I was reading statistics the other day talking about first interviews and of what, business owners had said. And it was like, I don't remember the percentages, but it was like, didn't dress appropriately, came in and were on their phone, brought their parents with them. I'm just like, man, we have got to do better.
Yeah.
We have got to do better.
And that's something that we're always touching on is the soft skills and just how to interact and how those soft skills are very important in the workplace.
Well, yeah, you have to learn how even with this, it's like Kurt has to be the one that talks to us about how this is supposed to look, what we're supposed to do. And so it's great to know how to run the cameras and how to operate the ATEM, but it's more than that. It's people skills. And I think that those soft skills they're critical.
Yeah.
How you present yourself, and it's not just, if you're in sales, obviously, which isn't your forte, but you know what I mean?
People person, not a pusher.
That's a good one.
And so, yeah, but I can see with both of you, I can see why that being able to work in education, we always think it's the teacher. And that's great. But education is so much more broad than that. The administrative side of it, what you're doing, it's not necessarily classroom, but it's making that connection between the school and the community. And that's really how I got involved, and was because I thought that was important. I think it's important that kids get opportunities. I remember as a young man, there was certain things you'd go and they said, well, you don't have any experience. Well, how am I supposed to get some? Well, I don't know. Go somewhere else and get it and then come back and see me. And it's like, so those soft skills are how you present yourself, and that's critical to them. And then there is the other side of somebody's got to say, come try it.
Yeah.
What do you got to lose?
And that is something that in my role that I feel very close to is that I just am trying to create hope. Like, you are young and you don't know where you're going, and there's so much going on in our world, but having some exposure to new things and getting to kind of build your road can just give some hope to what the future can be and what you can do with your future. And so just that is building those connections, hopefully is building that hope.
Yeah, every job is, when you end up with a lot of jobs, I never knew I was going to be doing this. This was not on my bucket list at all. And but I found out I ended up on radio. I liked it. It was fun. And then, radio you can see. So the guy said, well, when people hear an interview on the radio, they want to know what that person looks like.
Yeah.
And I thought, I do that. I wonder, what do they look like, right? Because I hear the voice, then you see them and you go, well, okay, that's important. They should change their face, right? It's like, and so we started doing radio you could see, but then a normal, like in a commercial radio setting, you only get about 3 minutes. So I thought, wow, we get 15 minutes. That's a lot. Well, 15 minutes goes by like that. And so that's when it just kept expanding. Now we're doing this. And then I didn't want to do it by myself. And so I needed a minnow.
You tried that. It didn't really
just not the same. It's just like, right? And so we get a chance now, like to talk to you gals, and so I want people to recognize it's not just Lyndhurst and Marysville Unified and all the school districts and that. See, we just like with the police department, if you just believe what the media says, it's never real people. And you guys are real people. I am quite shocked both of you grew up here and stayed here. I'm proud of you. I don't know what that's worth to you, but you know what I mean? That's really cool.
Yeah.
And to go back to the high school you graduated from and just... And I think East Nicholas has an opening.
Don't stand her away from us.
I was going to say, you're going to fight Mimi on this one.
No. But I think that's so important because I can tell you, I've been at Lyndhurst, I'm about to start my 20th year. And it's wonderful to see kids flourish and move on and whatever. But it always drives me crazy because they take all their awesomeness and they take it to another community. So I think these things that Becca is arranging and coordinating for us remind students there's an abundance of opportunities, resources, really well-intentioned people in our community trying to do great things. And we're constantly producing these fabulous graduates. Like, somebody snatch them up before they move elsewhere. You know? Like, stay here.
There are so many industries in our area that are high income and that are really growing. And there is plenty of opportunity here. Just getting the word out about them so that students do know that it's possible to create the future that they want and still be local.
Yeah. I was watching the Republican convention, and they had the gal from South Dakota on, and she talked about, they did these commercials where basically the guy said, I'm not a plumber, and he was messing, right? So what the state was doing was looking for plumbers and electricians. And man, people started moving there because the jobs were open, apprenticeships were open. And I think that's what we need in our area is a recognition of the trades. I mean, I have a college education. I think college is great, but college isn't an end all.
Yeah.
There's some of these professions. This plumber's going to make more money than you, right? Yeah. Which then you marry one. That's how you do it. I'm not advocating that, Becca. I'm just saying, right? And so when you talk about that with kids learning and then leaving the area, I love the way the school system is shifting to take care of skills and then having opportunities for one of these kids to say, hey, we had a kid on here. I want to say his name was Brody, but he welds. And he just absolutely, it's like, hey, we need welders, right? And there's places open for that. And I think of our ag industry and all the different parts of that. Somebody was on talking about plant science. I didn't know there was a plant science class, right? But there's a class to take it, right? Which I probably should take. My lawn would look a lot better. I wouldn't be asking you about Cheeto bread. We come up with other
watering your lawn.
So how much do you gals feel like the school system is genuinely making a shift to meet a greater need? It's like, some kids should go to college. Some kids can go into trades. But the school system is changing to accommodate. And then, like you said, Mimi Horsen, you got it. I was so close with that, wasn't I? That there's just opportunities available. What do you guys feel like you see coming down the pike? What are we going to be looking at to be doing this next generation? And I love what you said. How do we keep these great kids here?
Yeah, well, we have,
and you have to have all the answers.
All of them. We have multiple CTE pathways at both, or at Marysville High School and Lyndhurst High School, and this across the board. There's culinary, there's the ag with welding and plant science, sports, medicine, medical. So there's all sorts of different careers that they are getting to learn about in their classes at high school. And then trying to trickle it down into the middle schools. We have guest speakers coming in talking about their different jobs as well. But yeah, not every student needs to go to college. While I did go to college, and I think that college is more than just the degree. Growing as a person, I grew as a person so much in college, and I cannot, especially coming from a tiny town. I moved back to my tiny town, love it, but I bloomed, and so I think that that's really important, getting to have that experience. But if it's not for you, like going straight into a trade is absolutely a great option. And we do a Trades Day over at Union 228, where we bring all of our students that are interested in the trades, and they get to. The Union 228 is just wonderful, where they bring all of the other unions together in their parking lot to show off what these unions are and what they do, what the different trades are. And the students can try out different things and see what they're interested in. So definitely that is still a very important option. I come from an area where a lot of people we go straight into farming or into a trade and or go to college and then go back into farming. So no path is for everyone, but there's a right path for everyone.
It's not sales.
No.
Maybe did you ever consider something else? I mean, you seem so happy.
Yeah.
You're
I
settled where you're at.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know what? I actually also did sales. I was actually a Mary Kay consultant in college.
And she was great at it.
And I did very well because, you're just hanging out with your girlfriends and, selling cosmetics. But yeah, the pushback, it's like, oh, I'm not going to make you buy that tube of lipstick, right? And that's not, I wasn't trying to make rich. I really like making an impact. And I think that's what we have to sell kids on.
Yeah.
Like, whether you're a plumber in the trade, a teacher, a police officer, you're having an impact on other people. Yeah. And I think the narrative needs to change as a society because we do celebrate, like, oh, you got the scholarship, you're going to this school and blah, 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 blah. And, we're all guilty of that as well, right? But also, I think we learn so much from our kids, like from students. I mean, we have like a multi-generational staff. We have, people in their 70s and 60s, and our new teachers are 21, 22. And
I've met some of them.
Yes, they're so young, right?
Are you qualified for this? I'm like, what?
Yes. And the world is just so different. I'm also raising 3 teenagers myself, and just yesterday we went to Davis just, to go buy some more alumni gear for me for our College Thursdays that we do at the district. And I was telling them, I'm like, you guys, cell phones were not a thing when I started here. And I remember seeing somebody walking and having a conversation on the phone, and I was like, it can be so important that they have to make that phone call on their cell phone. And by the time I graduated, people were texting and riding their bikes, and, I went through so much in that small time. And now we have these teenagers that went through a pandemic, this technology revolution. So I think the key is going to be being willing to learn from them as much as they're learning from us. And I think, you are providing that avenue here, obviously. The interns are flourishing because you trust them to have a different perspective and to take certain risks. And I think the more we understand that we can learn from everyone, regardless of their degree, qualification, or age, the more we're going to be able to, direct and create this vision, not just for our schools, but for our community, right? Because that's really what we're trying to do is grow our community.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed. I know that they say one of the greatest fears is public speaking. Mm-hmm. But I'll get people behind a mic and they freeze up the same way. And so the kids, it's really funny. I'll take them and I'll put them in here and tell them you have to interview one another. So the shyest kid, all of a sudden, they're the one interviewing. So where do you? You're like, this is so cool because they can. There's a difference. You know what I mean? It's more personal. The kids nowadays, they're used to podcasts. Podcasts do not always have. Sometimes it's just one person talking and very informal. It's a little bit different. It's a hybrid. It's a little bit more television than it is podcast. And so it gives them an opportunity, and their personalities, you were talking about growing by going to college because it changed the atmosphere you were in. And it is my hope with the kids coming that it'll kind of open them up that there are possibilities. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Still, it's a wide open. You can do anything here. I would not have thought that, but at my age, I ended up with a radio station, right? And then ended up doing this, and I'm having a blast. This is fun. So I think that somehow I like that. You said you feel like sometimes you're giving them hope. I think, man, rip the covers off. You guys are capable of doing anything. You just need to not. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. because we're media, but sometimes you just need to not listen to the media's narrative. You know, I don't care what's going on somewhere. I tell people I can't change what's going on in Washington or Sacramento. My feet are here. And I want these kids to know your feet are here.
You're in
you
full
can make a
control
difference
of
here.
where you're going.
Totally capable. You're smart enough. You know, you just got to, you know, have a little more confidence. I hope we give them some confidence when they come here, but you know, and I can just see it from you guys' perspective, watching it change. Just because now we're in such a time of change in our country and everything, right? Our locality, to see things, we're kind of coming out of the whole COVID thing. The kids are having to kind of catch up and all. So it's a lot of work, right? And at the same time, it's got to be the thrill of seeing the lights go on in these guys. You know, there's, they got it.
Absolutely.
They got it.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like being a parent. You have 3 teenagers?
Well, I call my oldest a teenager. He just turned 21, but so 21, 17, and 13.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and actually they're coming through Lyndhurst also. So my 21-year-old graduated from Lyndhurst, and it's just, interestingly enough, you know, Dad and I, you know, got to know each other at Lyndhurst, so we're kind of a Blazer family through and through. So, yeah. So it's interesting to see the difference in just, you know, raising them and the stages they've gone through. You know, the oldest was a junior when the pandemic happened. So he didn't have, you know, the typical junior year. And then the middle one was in 7th grade. So, you know, shifting to that and understanding, you know, the seclusion and all that that did. And just, you know, we're seeing kids come out of it now, but it hasn't been easy, you know.
No, I think
some have been more resilient than others, but some, I think, it's changed them for the better. And some, it's just going to be really hard for them to learn, or for us to reinvent a different world in which they can thrive, because they're just different now.
You know, I think that was the hardest thing of all the things I've seen our government do over the years. I understand it was a disease. I understand. But the decision to separate us was probably not their best one, because they didn't know what they were dealing with. It was all along. There was not enough knowledge. So now we get to pick up the pieces. And so I'm really grateful for the area I live in. I can't speak for everything else, but everybody here is willing to pick up the pieces, the places where businesses lost. Man, we have people close their business, right? Where the schools, the kids didn't get a senior year, right? You know, and you know, which is a big deal. I think it's a big deal.
That is a big
deal.
Absolutely.
You know, and so I just am. It's exciting to me to say, all right, a mistake was made, and we didn't just like flounder and go, okay, flounder, that's a fish joke. And so, you know, we didn't just go, oh, okay, woe is us. Man, everybody just kind of picked up the pieces, whether it was a school system or, you know, all of a sudden you're seeing all these little mental health things jump up and say, hey, look, we're pretty resilient. We can get on the other side of this. We're for you. So you missed that. What are you going to do now? Where do we go now? How do we help them now? How do we continue through that? And I just love that. And I'm grateful to hear you say that. You know, as a mom, those are your kids. You know, that's a big difference, right? And it's like, okay, my kids went through that. I'm not going to let them falter or flounder, but falter. I mean, your kids are probably still learning to pronounce their last name.
Well, they're bilingual, so they get it.
They get it. It's easy for them.
Yeah.
Oh, so, hey, listen, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come in. Maybe we didn't know you were coming in, but we're grateful you did. Yeah.
Wonderful surprise.
And I love your story that you both grew up here and then came back here. And so just because you were brave enough to get in the tank with the minnow and the fish.
The minnow does not sound scary, though. It might change into shark.
We have a gift for you.
Wow.
Thank you. You're very
exclusive. I'm excited about this.
You can probably sell them for at least $20 on the market.
I saw one on eBay for $1.50. And so we did. I love it. We just want to tell you how much we appreciate you. Sometimes in our professions, really, it's not people telling us, gee, you're doing a great job. it's when we actually see the effect we have. And you guys happen to be in one of those really wonderful professions, not sales. And I will always remember that. That is so on my mind.
I think everyone should do it at least once in their life.
I do.
Don't you think? It gives you compassion then for people that have that you're like, oh, that's your income. Okay. All right, fine. No. Right off the bat, 3 no's. Now we're good.
Oh, yeah. Everyone
It's the
should do it at
highest
least
paid
once.
profession
It totally
in the
is.
world.
Yeah, if you're really good at it, it's great.
And you pick up so many skills, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
you learn how to respond to people. I mean, education is a lot about sales, to be honest.
Honestly, I've said that like I didn't like sales,
Really?
and then every job is basically sales. My job now is basically sales. I'm trying to sell the program.
Yes.
So
Gee,
you're selling
Becca, I
homework.
bought
I'm great at sales.
It wouldn't have been so bad, but I bought that and about 14 Tupperware containers.
And some Mary Kay.
And some Mary Kay.
But also, I have to say that this program would not be it. You came in as one of our very first industry partners, and last year, and that just really helped our program get off the ground. And then having more come in this year, I am so appreciative, and our students that have gotten to be in here have just absolutely loved the experience. So thank you for being part of it and helping me build this.
I know the rules, Becca.
You follow the rules so well.
So I do want to thank Gary Jensen, who is my operations manager for the radio station, and he takes the kids all the way through from the antenna. He takes them up to the antenna, all the way to the mic, and then of course Kurt Baird, who Kurt takes them down. We shoot a TV program that plays on Fox 4D, the Highland Sports. He takes them down there, walks them through that, and works with them. He really is one of those good dad kind of guys that can take these kids and work with them. And this last time, we had quite a few of them. The TV studio is not real big. And I had to ask Kurt, do you care if we have 5 or 6 kids in there with you? And he didn't even glitch. He said, oh, yeah, it's fine. And I'm like, wow, you're a brave soul. So I really want to thank them for doing that, for Stacy Meadows, who does all my staff work. She's my administrative assistant. She makes sure they fill out the papers that you want from me. And so I just want you to know she makes sure they sign their time sheets when they go in and out. And just everybody here has really been open to it. And I'm very grateful, And I don't know. I didn't go to Lyndhurst. I might have to become an honorary graduate. Right? Because I actually graduated from high school in summer school. It was during Vietnam. And they gave me the option. I only needed a couple of credits. So I actually graduated at 17. And then, all of a sudden I was out of high school, no prom, no nothing. You know, and I was like, what do I do now? And then Uncle Sam said, I got plans for you. And I was like, I'm going to get to go overseas and meet people, right? Anyway, so I just love this. Thank you for allowing us to be involved. Thank you for coming on with Kelly. Now you met Kelly, and she can actually train a bread maker.
You get someone in that wants to learn bread baking.
Yeah.
You can train me. I was just thinking. I saw a video about focaccia, and I was like, ooh, that looks really good. I want to make that.
Focaccia's easy.
That's what I've heard. We'll start easy.
Yeah, we'll start there.
All right. Well, we're going to be back in just a few minutes. I appreciate my guest, our guest.
No, it's your show. You just go ahead. I'll just scoot my chair over.
That's it. I'm lost. Anyway, I want to thank my guests for coming in. And again, I just want to make mention that I found out you can make a comment under here on, thank you for helping me.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem.
Social media. I didn't learn any of this. Could you send me some social media students and how to do this stuff? So anyway, we'll be right back. Kelly and I'll be right back. And these great gals are going to be going, and we're going to talk about them.
In the nicest way.
The nicest. We'll be right back. 93Q Radio was an opportunity for what's called an LPFM to give the community a voice.
The big part of what's happening here is it's us. It's the community of us.
The work that Mr. Fischetti has done with us to promote public education has been absolutely groundbreaking.
They have the pulse of our community from the nonprofits to the local governments. If you want to find out what's happening in our community, get on board with 93Q.
And 93Q does so much to help our community, helps us promote our local events, as well as local businesses, and tell our story about what we do here in Yuba Sutter.
The folks that work here, they're part of our community, so they understand our needs, and that's important.
Local radio is so important during times of emergency. They're there. We lean on them to provide information to our public.
My wife and I are glad to support 93Q. We're going to do it on a monthly basis, but I really recommend that if you want to make your community better, this is a great place to take a first step right here.
So if you can, reach deep into your pocket and give to 93Q.
93Q is a great partner for law enforcement, and they're a great partner for the Yuba Sutter area.
We're really asking people if you can give $10, $15, $20 a month, and then that enables us to continue to put small business spots on the air, nonprofits, organizations that are they're using every dollar they got just to operate, and they don't have extra money to spend on really promoting their cause. And that is why community radio, to me, I'm grateful to be part of it, and that's why it's important. Hey, we're back, and I am really, that was a wonderful time with those two gals, both of them local, right? Both of them just really, they love what they do.
I love their passion for what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think to find something that you love to do that much, Mimi said she's coming up on 20 years.
I was shocked.
I know, I'm like, first off, how old are you? You don't
Exactly.
look like you could have been.
That's what
but then I'm
both of them.
thinking, well, yeah, but then I'm thinking, okay, like she said, they have teachers that are 21, 22. Good grief.
She's got a son, 21.
21, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
so she's going to watch us later and go, they have no idea I'm 87 years old.
Right? Mimi, that Mary Kay really worked for you. You look amazing.
Kelly and I are both buying Mary Kay,
Yeah,
right?
we are. Mary Kay masked, night mask, cream masks, yeah. Every night.
But it's really good. I love the people that we get to talk to that like that. They grew up here, right? They went away to college,
Yeah.
or, sometimes they go away, maybe military, whatever.
Yeah.
But they come back, and to come back, it reminds me of that TV show, Welcome Back, Kotter, right? Where he taught in this, I think it's in Brooklyn, probably. Anyway, he went to school there and then came back as a teacher, and they all know he came back as that he was there.
Yeah.
And it was a comedy, and it was really well done. But I just think there's something to be said, and you can tell she is sold on Lyndhurst, right?
I think they might let you walk through as an honorary graduate.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I know. I think we could work this out. Walk across the stage.
Yeah.
Graduate with them.
Yeah, they'd be like, I've done a lot of crazy stuff. Might as well.
This would not be the craziest thing you've ever done,
Listen,
I'm pretty sure.
My son graduated, my oldest boy graduated from Elk Grove High, and they take your picture. Yeah. So he had developed a friendship with the principal. She was a really great gal, and what had happened was one time Pablo didn't have his lunch money, and she took care of him, and it just formed a friendship, right? And so he walks across stage, right? And everybody, they're handing the thing. He grabs the principal and dips her. I'm like, that's something your father would do.
I was going to say, the apple does not fall far from the tree.
I was like, what did she say? He said she just laughed. I mean, it was like, I just love reality when it's really, truly reality,
The fun of it.
And so what was your favorite part of that interview?
I don't know. I loved that. I love so much about what they're doing, I think. I think back to having that kind of opportunity in high school to know that you don't have to do what your parents are doing. You don't have to go into, college. You don't have to, I think, to maybe have some of that pressure lifted.
Yes.
And because high school is stressful when you're nearing the end and it's like, oh no, I'm going to be an adult soon and there's bigger expectations. And I think to have somebody that's like, hey, we have this, a program that you could pick something you might want to do, and it doesn't have to be what you want to do, and try it out. Like, I might have missed 4 or 5 careers had I done that in high school.
Well, I have to tell you, it was really different for me. I was going in the military.
Yeah.
My family, my dad was a World War II vet, and my older brother, Zelly, had already gone to Vietnam. And I knew I was 1A for the draft, so I knew I was going to get drafted. But I came out to California because I had a girlfriend out here. You know how that works.
Yeah,
right?
That's how it happens.
And so I told her, I said, Debbie, I want to marry you, so I'm going to go back, get what little stuff I have back in Missouri, and I'm going to. Well, I get home, I got a draft notice, and so I went down to the recruiter and I said, hey, I'm not going to be able to go in the Air Force because he said, oh no, you're already signed up. And I'm thinking, I didn't sign anything. Yeah. And he's like, so he called the draft board and said, he's already signed up. And so I went in, and it was really a weird thing, Kelly. I called Debbie on my, you get, it's kind of like being in jail. You get one phone call, right? And I said, I'm going in. I'm not going to, right? And she said, well, if you don't marry me before you go in, I won't talk to you. I won't write you. And she kept that promise.
Yeah.
And 4 years later, I came home and there was a letter from her waiting for me. 4 years later.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, it's a little late. I'm already married. I got married overseas. And so, it was just a weird deal. But I didn't have that, what am I going to do? Because for all of us, we knew, if you're healthy, you're probably going in the military.
Your fate's decided.
So we didn't have that. But during the course of the time in the military, I knew somewhere, I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do. And I did do sales for a while.
Did you?
I wasn't that great.
Oh, my gosh. Wait, I could kind of see you as a salesperson.
Oh, stop.
I mean, you're personable. So, that part of it, you're a good talker. So, wait, where did you do sales?
I actually,
what kind of sales?
Are you ready for this?
Were you a used car salesman?
No. I was better. I was selling vacuums. The Rainbow.
Oh,
have you ever heard of that?
Gosh, no.
Oh, you can't kick dust out of a mud puddle. That works with water. So I loved it. I believed in the product.
Yeah.
And
which is huge.
Yeah. And so, and then what it was they did what they called a hire. And it takes 4 hours to go through it because they explain everything to you about the equipment, about selling, and the whole thing. Well, I stayed there long enough, I learned how to do the hire. And you memorize 4 hours of teaching.
And then were you knocking on people's doors? Was this one of those?
No, they did some kind
units?
of lead things they did because we didn't do it. Wherever we went, they already knew we were coming. And it was a very interesting thing. And I just thought, I don't know if I like this, right? And, it's like, I like people, but, I don't know. It didn't, I'm getting a signal,
you're
right?
Getting the hook. You're getting the hook.
I'm telling stories about high school. This is not an interview for me. It's
it's always about you, Fish. Go ahead.
All right. Well, listen, we thank you so much for watching this menagerie. And it's like this is fun for us. I hope it's fun for you guys. And again, if you have somebody that put it in the comments that you think, gosh, I'd really like to, that they're doing something, just who they are interesting. There's a gal, I'm not going to give you her name, but I've been working on her, and eventually I'm going to get her in here. She has a great story. And so I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe I should offer her money.
I was going to say, maybe you should send me her way. Yeah.
I should send you. You probably know her. I'll tell you later who it is. Anyway, from the Minnow and I, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.